Hi guys, it's Shira, and today we're going to be talking about who is culpable for the sin of the Na'arim. And what I mean by that is if you look in Shmuel Aleph, Perek Bet, there's this interesting passage describing the sons of Eli, about how they would go with these three-pronged forks and basically steal the meat from the korbanot before it was even fully cooked. And that's like how we understood the pshat that they were the ones going and stealing it, except if you look in Perek Pasuk Tet Vav, it says Uva nar hakohen va'amar leish hazevach tana basar litzalot lakohen velo yikach mimcha basar mivushal ki imchai. So we have these two characters, the Nar HaKohen and the Kohen. So our question really is, who are these characters, and how do we place the blame for this sin of stealing the meat? So Ralbag says that what's going on is the Na'arim were sent by the Kohanim to be stealing the meat. So the fault of the Na'arim is just really that they didn't stand up to their masters, but it's really the Kohanim that are sinning because the Na'arim are just doing it because they told them to do it, to steal the meat. So Ralbag does not paint these Kohanim in a very favorable light. He seems to say, basically they just had somebody do their dirty work for them, and they are completely responsible for this sin, and making the korbanot, lowering them to such a level of it's something that's supposed to be so holy, and they're reducing it to just an object of their material desire, which was very disgusting in the eyes of Hashem. Malbim, however, takes a different approach, and he says the Na'arim were doing it of their own accord. So the sin of making a disgrace of the korbanot was on them. The sin of the Kohanim was that they knew what the Na'arim were doing. It was a well-known fact in the Mishkan, except they didn't do anything about it. So their sin was really as failed leaders for not stopping their subordinates from doing something that really they knew was wrong, and they knew what was going on. They weren't oblivious to this fact. So the idea that I really relate to more is Malbim's approach, that it was failed leadership. If you saw in my last post, I really relate to this idea of the failed leadership in the time that they're kind of recovering from the period of the Shoftim, and they're looking for a replacing method of leadership, because this whole Shoftim era has failed, and it just makes logical sense to me that these Kohanim are products of this system, and they too are failed leaders, because maybe they're copying not exactly their father, but they only saw a failed leader. They have nowhere else to look. So I think that definitely paints them in a more favorable light, saying they were victims of the time. Obviously they're responsible at the end of the day for their own actions, but it's hard to look at it just in a vacuum. They were doing it because of their surroundings, the setting that they were in. So that's definitely a way to paint them in a more positive light.